Welcome back. This is it. We are diving into our seventh and final explainer in this emotional maturity series. We've traveled a seriously long road together, navigating all those messy, complicated stages of human growth. And today we've finally reached the absolute pinnacle, the elder stage. Now, for those of you who've been riding along since the very beginning, we started way back at the fetal stage, right? That place where your sense of self just feels completely lost. Well, take a deep breath, because now we are standing right at the absolute summit of emotional and spiritual maturity. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's hit our central thesis head on today. The massive, profound question we really have to grapple with here is simply this. What is the ultimate shape of grace? Throughout this entire explainer series, we've been asking how grace manifests at every single level of development. But here, at the very end of the journey, we're looking for its final, complete form. Like, how does grace actually operate when someone has truly, deeply matured? Well, we're about to find out.
Section 1. The most complete shape of grace, becoming the cornerstone. So to really wrap our heads around this final stage, we actually have to look at its structural role in our relationships. Because here's the thing, being an elder isn't about being, morally flawless in some rigid, uptight way. Actually, scratch that. It's not about perfection at all. It's about being the cornerstone. An elder sacrifices for the unlovable because their roots are deep enough to provide rock-solid stability without needing a single thing in return. They literally don't need validation from the system. They are the anchor for it.
And this brings us right to the beating heart of that cornerstone. In the elder stage, grace simply looks like Jesus. Take a look at this verse from Matthew. It reminds us that grace isn't blind. It's not naive. The elder sees the reality of a situation with total clarity. They can clearly discern the good from the evil, the righteous from the unrighteous, and yet they give anyway. The sun still rises. The rain still falls. It's just a beautiful, challenging reality.
Moving right along to Section 2, defining the unlovable, beyond surface-level difficulties.
Now, we absolutely need to be brutally honest and define who we're actually talking about here. Look, it's pretty easy to show grace to someone who's just, a little annoying, having a bad day, but true maturity, that is tested by the intensely draining reality of people who offer absolutely zero return on your emotional investment. None. We're talking about the people who take endlessly, who hurt you without even a shred of self-awareness, and honestly, whose society would probably just write off entirely as not worth the effort.
So you might be wondering, how in the world does an elder find the capacity to love these incredibly draining people? Well, they do it because their love comes entirely from a higher source. When Jesus talks in John 15 about laying down one's life for one's friends, the really radical truth there is that those friends often included the unlovable, the unworthy, and the totally unaware. The elder taps into this exact same inexhaustible well.
Which brings us to Section 3, the fusion of law and grace, resolving the ultimate tension. Now, throughout this whole explainer, we've pretty much constantly pitted grace against law, right? So it begs the question, at the absolute peak of maturity, does the elder just toss the rulebook out the window? Not at all. We usually start out experiencing the law as this heavy external pressure demanding we comply. But in the elder reality, the law doesn't disappear. It just moves. It transforms into an internal heartbeat, completely written on the inside. Grace breathes life right into it. And in return, the law gives grace its shape. It's a perfect fusion.
That leads us to Section 4, the true mark of the elder, rooted in the storm.
Okay, we really need to deconstruct a massive assumption right now. Society constantly tells us that the elder, the mature one, should be the loudest, the most visibly capable person in the room. The charismatic commander fixing everything. But the reality of deep emotional maturity is so much more profound than that. An elder is simply the most stable person. They aren't running around fixing every single problem with flashy displays of power. They are the deep roots, holding firm when a massive storm hits.
Seriously, just think about the people in your own life for a second. Imagine the immense, overwhelming relief of being around someone who doesn't just completely collapse when everything goes sideways. Someone who, and honestly this is huge, does not require you to manage their emotions during a crisis. They offer this profound sense of safety just by existing in the same space as you. That right there is the quiet, undeniable power of the elder.
And that brings us to Section 5, this week's step. Am I willing? A personal invitation.
Because, look, theory is great and all, but maturity is really about taking practical steps. Step 1 for this week is super simple. Just identify that person in your life who really drains you. But definitely pay attention to step 2. I am absolutely not asking you to magically fix a toxic relationship today or to try and manufacture some fake warm, fuzzy feelings. Nope. I am just asking you to pause, reflect, and prepare yourself for step 3.
And this is it. Step 3. I want you to hold that draining person in your mind right now. Think about the complete shape of grace we've explored today. That steadfast cornerstone, the deep root holding firm in the storm. And simply ask yourself one honest question. Am I willing? You don't have to be there yet. Not at all. You just have to be radically honest with yourself about your willingness to even start.
And since this crazy journey of growth isn't meant to be walked all alone, I highly encourage you to share this explainer with a friend. Sit down together and just ask each other, hey, what stage are you in right now? Because it's when we get deeply, safely honest with one another that true transformation actually happens. We've officially reached the summit of this emotional maturity framework. But the real question we have to walk away with is this. When the storm finally hits and that unlovable person is standing right in front of you, will you be the wind that breaks them or the roots that hold them safe?